Empathy versus Stoicism. So in male culture, there's this idea of masculinity that has to do with not being bogged down by emotions. Don't don't rely on feelings, don't rely on emotions. They'll drag you down. They'll distract you from thinking rationally and being able to be calm and collected and not have any feelings and to see problems clearly. That's kind of how it's dressed up. To always keep your composure and and to not to feel what's going on. And I think a lot of men have, and that's surely I can speak for myself. That was a huge appeal for me. I wanted to be like that. I mean, Hollywood paints this picture of a strong, masculine man who has really like calm, collected, cool at all times. Well, I would venture to say that Stoicism is a lie, and that is not Stoicism is not biblical, and that empathy is what Christ modeled. Jesus Christ modeled empathy. And this is God in the flesh, modeling to us the kind of behavior he wants to see his followers have. And empathy is not to not have feelings. When Jesus saw the sick, he and the hungry, he had compassion on them. When his buddy Lazarus died, he wept. When he was being nailed to the cross, he felt abandoned. These are real feelings. But Jesus did not run away from his feelings. And Stoicism, it's a part of Stoic thinking to look at a situation without feelings. But Jesus, despite the challenging feelings and emotions, he leaned into it and he loved. He still loved the Lord. He still loved God. And it takes courage and it takes a real man and a real woman to love even though they have even through the pain. Jesus loved his enemies. Forgive them, Father, for they do not know what they do. Even in Matthew, at the end of Matthew, when he was in the Garden of Gethsemane, Judas came with the Pharisees and the Roman soldiers and the soldiers, or, you know, to take him in. And Jesus said to Judas, "Friend, do what you've come here to do." That is empathy. I'm sure it hurt to see his disciple Judas turn his back on him. But Jesus did not turn his back on Judas. He still called him friend. Empathy is to have a heart of flesh. Stoicism is to have a calloused heart. And I used to think that being stoic and being a stoic Christian, I can love others with by thinking about what's right. But loving is not something we think. Loving is what we do with our heart, with our soul. And this way of thinking, seeing life from an empathetic lens, has improved my relationship with my wife, my kids, and my friends. Every single relationship, my enemies. I do not close my heart to people. I leave my heart open for God to move and to really love. And one of my favorite quotes, believe it or not, I heard this listening to a guy named Jesse Lee Peterson. I don't agree with a lot of things that he says, but this one thing that he said, and I don't know where he got it from, was, "If you don't love all, you love none." I believe that Stoics, the thing about having empathy that Stoics might have a hard time understanding is that it's okay to have pain, emotional pain. What makes us children of God is to love God and to love our enemies and to love our neighbor and to love ourselves, even through the pain. And Jesus shows us that love, there is a redemption in the love. And it shows that we are his children. There's so much. This is just kind of like a broad stroke paint, a broad paintbrush over a very uh, abstract idea. I'm trying to make it simple, but empathy is different than stoicism, and men in this generation could be even more manly if we understood that Jesus had a heart of flesh and not of stone, and he loved through the pain. Man, if we could love through our pain, it will restore our passion and zeal and our compassion for others and our passion to love God, and we could turn betrayal and broken pain in our hearts into a redemption that helps us to live as children of God, a love that overcomes hatred. It's kind of a it's a very I'm still learning how to express this deep truth that has transformed me, but I hope this helps encourage you, um, especially men, to give, to forgive, and to have empathy again. Not to be Stoics, but to be children of God with empathy, and to care about what God cares about. All right. God bless you guys. Love you all.